A man goes to see the doctor about a serious cough. Yay, I don't need to spend any time making claims on my health insurance. I went to the doctor. He said he gave me 3 months to live. So I shot him. I liked the judge's answer better. The judge gave me 20 years. The doctor should consider a career in suspenseful storytelling. I've read this 10, 11, 12 times. If I were the doctor, I'd wait it out. My doctor gave me max 1 month to live. I said, I can't pay his dues by then. He gave me another month. It's not a good timing for me. I am just on my way to the hospital, to the lungs department, because I have a cough for more than a year, and they gave me an inhaler which helps, but I want to know how I can live without it. 8, 7. I can afford to live the rest of my life. An elderly man is stopped by the police around 2 a.m. and is asked where he is going at this time of night. The man replies, I am on my way to a lecture about alcohol abuse and the effects it has on the human body, as well as smoking and staying out late. The officer then asks, really? Who is giving that lecture at this time of night? The man replies, that would be my wife. Do you know anyone who can drink 5 liters of petrol? Phil McCann. A dead person. For us Americans the answer is Gus can. Carlos. Anyone can drink 5 liters of petrol. Once, me call 911. In my experience JCs are 20 liters or 5 gallons. Jerry can. Hot take my up to D. Which Spice Girl can carry the most petrol? Jerry can. In the US, Jerry can consume approx 20 liters of petrol. Me. Henry Ford. Phil McHunt tried doing it the other way. As a Jerry, no we can't. That's true. My friend is a Jerry can. Grocery joke actually happened. I never saw such a perfect joke before. We have a whiner for Wurstad joke I have seen today. Yeah but they won't. Lamau. I hate to say it but I'm totally lost. Thoughtful face. Everyone tries to be a hot dog when it comes to grocery jokes. You sound like the worst brat ever. There is a sausage store around here called the Absolute Wurst. Knock. Wurst. Is somebody at the door? Hey, open up. It's the Wurst knock knock joke. Nice, y'all know that is a dad joke and a spoonerism for X. When I saw the casket base, I became a basket case. I met a girl who was a solid 10 but she hated Harry Potter. Guess you can't Slytherin. I think the punchline would work better if she likes Harry Potter. The setup could also go either way. For the person telling the joke she's a 10, but a bit obsessed with Harry Potter, so she's only a 934. Or she was a solid 9, but she also loves HP, so that makes a 934 to me. Remember the order of Bird said to Harry, bring me a double cheeseburger, large fries and strawberry. Was like, are you serious? I don't get it. Toot toot, all aboard. She's a trained platform? Then she's a 12. Wouldn't that make her an 11? That makes her an 11. Yay. Just like the platform, getting her is tricky. Wow, there's a lot of Harry Potter hate here. Not a great joke but as good as a lot of the ones I see here. Harry Potter is boring. I haven't watched Read HP so I can't understand the joke. I saw my dwarf neighbor standing at the bus stop this morning so I stopped. Short and simple, I like it. Reminds me of the time I was driving past the prison and saw a dwarf in an orange jumpsuit climbing down the outer wall of the prison. I remember thinking to myself, that's a little condescending. Do not patronize me. I am not happy. What are you then? What do I know about dwarfs? Very little. That'll keep your neighbor on his toes. Like when he's at a urinal. How people can stoop so low I'll never understand. I laughed out loud, repeated the joke to my GF and she almost broke up with me. Thanks. The best way to travel is by hat. A little man joke goes a long way. I thought to myself, what an ungrateful shit. I'm just being a kind kangaroo. Closed my pouch back up and hopped home. Why were you walking home in the morning? My friend decided to get a face tattoo of his favorite Star Wars character. Getting tattoos in all the odd places. Kids and tattoos can both be removed with lasers. Anakin Skywalker. Will they be tattooing more on his face? From now on he'll be going solo. Hands down. I thought we were going somewhere involving face window. Now that my friends is how to do a dad joke. Lol. Stop it. I'm starting a tattoo business. Women who show their breasts get tattooed for free. I'll call it Tit for Tat. Oh hell yeah. This is now one of my faves. Thank you sir. It moves when he chewies. I like the pun, but I think there would definitely be funnier face tattoos. I'm thinking your friend should get a tattoo of Salacious Crumb. Jabba the Hutt's little should add Jabba himself, too, of course. Maybe one of those I heart tattoos on his bicep? You can leave your hut on. I am not your father. Till, the role of April Ludgate in Parks and Recreation was specifically created for Aubrey Plaza after the casting director met her and felt she was the weirdest girl she had ever met in her life. What a legacy to have a role specifically created for your odd personality. Love it. What's even funnier is Aubrey Plaza based her performance on her sister. The story I've heard is that Tina Fey found her in the New York scene and recommended her to Amy Poehler. She was an NBC page and did an episode or two of 30 Rock. Back in the college humor days, she played basically a prototype of the character in Troopers when she was the Princess Leia Expressway. Funnily enough, she still had to audition. Link. Allison Jones is a legendary casting director. Look her up. Casting needs more recognition. I honestly can't tell if she's autistic or just really good at playing a specific character. She tells the story on Conan's podcast. It's pretty funny. Till, about Malbolge, a programming language designed to be nearly impossible to use. It took 2 years for the first program to appear and its author has never written a program with it. Hello, world. 9876 C4321 UT. QM$HC? ZG44EQ0 MLK. HKSDG5 MBA? YVB''RR5431 M6543 W10. This, from the Wikipedia. In the soap opera General Hospital, Colonel Sanders of KFC makes a guest appearance because someone is trying to kill him to obtain the secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. He knows Malbolge and is able to disarm the destruct sequence. It's real. I thought it was made up for that show. Elementary. Till, about terminal lucidity. The unexpected return of mental clarity and memory shortly before the death of patients suffering from severe psychiatric and neurologic disorders. My wife was dying of cancer. All of a sudden it was as if she recovered. We went out and visited her old employer. We took rides, went to dinner. It was wonderful. A week later she went into hospice and died that night. It was as if we were given a gift. I knew she wasn't going to make it. But we had 4 days like the old days. My mother's cousin recently passed away. She was in her 80s and had severe dementia, but the night before she passed she woke up and asked all of her relatives in the room, one by one, if it was okay for her to die. My grandma had a rough 9 days in the ICU before she died from COVID, and on day 7 she was talking about stuff I nor my older family members had never heard her discuss before from as far back as 80 years. Till, that in 2012, an Indian nurse looking after Kate Middleton was prank called by a radio station pretending to be the Queen. This led to her revealing confidential information which was then broadcast on the radio. 3 days later, she committed suicide by hanging. Remove the prank idea and you have someone impersonating a public official to acquire private medical information and publishing it for gains. Seems like that would be a criminal offense, but I guess it's just a prank. Bro is a universal defense. Pranking for privileged patient information was a poor idea from the start. It's hacking a system through social engineering. I remember when this happened. They pulled the 2 DJs off the air and sent them to a remote mountain cabin for therapy. I saw a video of them giving some fake crying fake apology. The IRS wins every lottery and jackpots because the winner has to pay half of their winnings to them. Well, it's the lottery. The government wins even before taxes. That's the only reason it exists. The lottery is just the state's way of fleecing its poorest citizens by giving them the false hope of not being poor. Highest federal tax rate is 37. Uncle Sam is the greediest bastard. Winnings in Australia are not taxed. Money made on the money is taxed. In America, yes. In England, the prize they say is the prize you the most. The UK lottery has been is around 150 million. In America the highest was 1.6 billion. I wouldn't mind giving away half of 1.6 billion to the tax man. In fact, I'd give most of it away and save 10 million for myself as well as what it costs to buy my house, etc. So maybe 12 million for myself. The rest I'd give to friends and family and charities. What did the person do say that made you go what the fuck is wrong with you? I was DD for some buddies who wanted to go to a particular dance club in Baltimore. They're all hammered, it's too loud and we've been there for several hours. Casually an older woman next to me chats me up and notices my eyes are nearly crossing from boredom. I explained what I was doing there and casually stupidly mentioned I'm a bit bored. This psycho bites me on the chest afterwards, says, well, you ain't bored now, are ya? Boss at old job told the team we needed to get used to a healthy level of conflict, fear and anxiety in the workplace. I dipped so fast after that. A girl I was with while we were still together just looked at me while I was driving to her house and said, "You know I would get over you faster than you'd get over me." I was like, "DF, did you just say?" What do Israel and Palestine have in common? The funniest thing about this post was that you knew it was wrong timing and still posted it. Smiley face. Smiley face. God, I love dark jokes. It's a pita, that there can't be peace. The land they call home? As an Israeli. I fucking love hummus. There was an Ali G interview where he somehow got Israel and Palestinian government representatives to somehow up for it, and proceeded to confuse hummus with Hamas. Civilians are the victims, dead people is common. They are both brown, nothing. Not a damn thing. Are you effing kidding me? Here's one. What does your mother dying of cancer have in common with your child dying of cancer? Funny? Thousands of people dying on both sides and are joking about it. You really suck. It looks like you dropped a bomb on us. I got you. Explosive joke. Love it. The timing is what makes this good, haha. What fictional character is portrayed as a lovable scamp, but would be fired, arrested or unfriended in real life? There is not a hospital in the world that could afford the lawsuits Greg House would generate in real life. Even in universe they have a budget specifically for his lawsuits. It cannot be enough. Sherlock Holmes works for himself for a reason. Gina Linetti from Brooklyn Nine-Nine would have been an HR nightmare role. Bullying Charles, sexually harassing Terry, not to mention some of the outright hateful things she had said to her co-workers. The Three Musketeers were heroes of their story, but were complete scoundrels through the entire book. Sleeping with other men's wives, extorting money from old ladies, picking fights constantly. At one point Athos locks himself in the basement of an inn, drinks all the wine and eats all the food. Quagmire from Family Guy. What is a sexual fantasy you can never act out on with your real partner? Sex in Zero Gravity. Batista bombing her on the bed then raising her leg to win the fight. For her to let me use her mouth however I want without worrying about her comfort. Will never happen because I love her and never want to hurt her and she doesn't enjoy that kind of stuff. But if she did, I don't think she'll let me sleep with early 2000s Allison Hannigan. Having sex with my girlfriend whenever I feel like it. Have sex with her while she is sleeping. Eye her up by having sex with her. Roleplay. She likes it, but I don't feel comfortable wearing the dress. To finish on her face mouth. She's fine with anywhere below the neck but it's my only fantasy. Dizzy face. Dizzy. Loving relationship. Us become full-on porn stars and releasing tons of videos of us having sex. For use. What is the best smell you know? There is a smell, which only happens after a really cold snap of weather, and the first day of the cold snap, early in the morning. It's like this super cold fresh smell, and everything is just super cold and frozen around you. I love it. It's a cool autumn day in mid-October a few days after a rainstorm has passed and brought with it the cooler weather. The leaves have turned and are falling. The air is just slightly crisp. It smells a bit musty but not unpleasant. There's just a hint of a breeze pulling the earthy smells through the woody area down by the stream. It smells like autumn, is the only way I know to describe it. The smell of wet rocks. The concrete after it rains, a stream, etc. It's addictive to me. Smell of bread while I'm toasting it. In the summertime, the smell after it rains on hot pavement, campfire. Always takes me back to my time as a Boy Scout. What is the craziest war tactic used in history? When the Anzacs pulled out of Gallipoli they converted some of their rifles to be self-firing, using string to pull the trigger and water dripping out of a can for the timer, and left them behind to make it seem like they were still occupying their abandon. For a few hours the Ottomans were defending against well-armed beef tents. In World War I the British air-dropped opium-laced cigarettes on the enemy and then when they started smoking and fell asleep they attacked the trenches. This happened twice. Probably not the craziest, but pretty creative. Even the USS Texas was assigned to the D-Day invasion. They find the cannons didn't have the reach to keep supporting the troops, so the captain ordered one of the torpedo blisters filled with water. This caused the ship to lean to one side which increased the arch of fire of its older guns. Invading Rome on elephant back has to be up there. What would you do if you received $1 million? Pay off my debits and continue living with a comfortable little nest egg. Buy a modest home. Well, I'd buy you a green dress but not a real green dress, that's cruel. Or I'd buy you an exotic pet like a llama, or an emu. It's so sad that doesn't even seem like an amazing amount of money these days. I would pay everything off, probably treat myself a little, take a nice vacation and save the rest for retirement. 2 chicks at the same time. Vegas, 1 spin, all on black. I'd invest 100 of it. In 30 years I'll have $7.6 million with a fairly reasonable assumption of 7 annual retirement. It has already been commented but there is only one answer to this question. 2 chicks at the same time. Hookers and cocaine. Retire. Quit working for other people. Why can't you use beef stew as a password on your computer? You can just add my name to the end of your password. My mom always says I'm her special character. Don't use my cock not long enough. I use them correct. So if I forget it, the error message reminds me. Seems your business should beef up security. You could stand to lose booleans. At one point may just have been the highly instrumented versions for developers. Windows NT filled unused memory with dead beef. Yes, Zero's dead beef is a legitimate 32-bit number expressed in hexadecimal. What's funny is that Reddit hides your password if you attempt to write us my password. You guys stirring the pot got me stewing. This is grounds for a beef. My mom won't let me eat while using her laptop anymore. Because when she caught me stroganoff, I dropped my pen on the keyboard. You can never uncook something. I just cooked some ice and put it in the freezer to chill. Eggs can be unboiled. Can't really unsalt if either. Important things to remember in the kitchen. You're right, I got nothing. If you cook candy you can turn it back to sugar. I'll leave this here. Today the second law of thermodynamics became a shower thought. You wanna bet? Yes you can, though chemistry you can in fact repair all the damage that heat can do to meat, as long as it's not on live tissue. Causal then. I mean, distillation is essentially boiling then unboiling things. You technically have to cook jello by heating it before refrigerating it to set. Leaving it out causes it to melt back into its liquid form, which more or less uncooks it. If you can cook the books, you can uncook them. Sneering face. You can dehydrate pasta. You can uncooked water. Turns from a solid to liquid to gas and you can repeat forever. Not with that attitude. How do you respond to nudes? You guys are getting nudes? If I like him I start Lamau, stop DMing me you weirdos. I've never received. While you're here check this is as close to my nudes as you'll get. In public? Usually I just run. Nudes I expect from someone I'm dating. I will respond positively of course. Unsolicited, I Photoshop them into weird situations or with random hats outfits on their no squares. Sir, this is a Wendy's. I don't. And I forever know what that guy's dick looks like. Something about the vulnerability underneath the lack of boundaries fascinates me. One person sent me a DM telling me they wanted to show me their tits. I told them I was flattered and I would love to see them, but only if they were 22 or older. I never received tits. Finn. Wow, you're looking extra undressed today. Did all your clothes fall off in a terrible storm that resulted in 10 earthquakes? I'm yet to be sent one thankfully. Pope Francis. When Dave dies, he can cook. Great joke. When I steal it, I will replace the Pope with Mr. Rogers, or maybe Bob Ross. As a Catholic, I'm pretty sure he's got a place of honor at the feast. I don't get it. The real joke is that Francis goes to heaven. When I first heard this it was a tuna fish sandwich. As a Catholic I believe Francis wants to destroy the church. He's more woke than Catholic. I'm going to steal this and replace Frank with today's evangelical Pharisee Christian.